This is week 12. It is part 2 of R678, and we're recording this to the cloud with an unexpected guest. So last night I had April Fool's jokes for Sam with us. The
Oh, wonderful.
sleeper pillow and the Psalm sleeper app joke. I had them, and today it's not April Fool's, so there's no fooling around today. Well, it was all serious talk today. So Ramesh Sharma is joining us today, and at times I write to him, and he tells me he's in India, in Delhi, and at times I write to him he's in Malaysia. At times I write to him he's somewhere else in other parts of the world. And I sent you 2 to 3 bios from him, and you'll see that on there, working for Indira Gandhi National Open U, or IGNU, and been a director of the Commonwealth Educational Media Center of Asia. So working with my friends at the Commonwealth of Learning, with Sanjaya Mishra and others from there who've been guests on this show in the past. Just talked to Sanjaya the day before yesterday, in fact. So Ramesh has experience in teaching with distance learning, with managing distance learning, with developing and designing distance and online and other forms of flexible learning environments. He worked for Wawarazan Open U in Malaysia, which is in Penang. I have been there, I think, and visited the campus back in 2010 in May with my friend Zaraini Wadi Abbas, God rest her soul. She's a great person. So, this openness, the open universities, maybe we can talk about that as well, and how that Warasan is different from Malaysia, the Open U of Malaysia, which is in Kuala Lumpur and KL, where I've given a couple of talks in the past. My friend Aptar Kuar, who you may know as well, Ramesh. So he's worked with the United Nations. He's worked with universities in places in Brazil and Guyana. So getting into South America, not just Asia. And so maybe we need to kind of get a sense of the different places that you've been in the past decade. Why don't we maybe limit to the past quarter century? Where have you roamed during the past quarter century, and what have you done, and what should people know about that I didn't mention?
Okay. I had an idea. Let me see if I can share my screen so that, okay, Firefox, why it is saying unknown? I don't know. Just please confirm, allow Zoom to share your screen.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what city are you in today, Ramesh?
I was thinking that let me use Google Earth and show the places where I am. But actually, I'm using this MacBook Pro for the first time. So otherwise, my other laptop is here on which I was. But sometimes this Windows operating system, it consumes a lot of memory. And if you open 2, 3 windows like Zoom and then Google Earth, I was thinking it should not hang. So anyway, thank you at the outset. Hello, everyone. And thank you, my best friend, Professor Kurt, for thinking of me. And I'm a big fan of yours, all your MOOC books and other things, wonderful contribution. In fact, very recently, I had been to Kabul in Afghanistan. And I remember I remembered that I should carry that book so that we can spread the knowledge. And the faculty at the University of Kabul in Kabul, they were very happy. And one of the friends, he was very happy that I want to have a photograph with the book. So that way, in fact, they were doing a good work on online education. They are progressing. And as you know, that the war has seriously affected that country. And very recent, just few months ago, there was a diktat by the Taliban about prohibiting girls to go to schools and educational institutions. So we were talking about that, okay, there are few things we cannot control, but there are few things which we can do. So with the help of UNESCO, then we planned that how the online and distance education can be so helpful for these, and particularly when they have a good access to mobile devices. So that way. But before that, okay, let me come back to, I started my teaching journey in 1986. I was a lecturer in a teacher training college, and I taught B.Ed and M.Ed classes for around 10 years, 9 years. Then in 1995, I was selected as regional director of Indira Gandhi National Open University. And in terms of Sir John Daniel, uh, IGNU, in
Wow,
short,
John Daniel. Wow.
yes,
Yeah.
uh, in fact, we were very happy. Okay, in India, we have two kind of distance education systems. At the university level, higher education level, it is open universities. And at the school sector, we have open schools. So we have a National Institute of Open Schooling, which was previously known as National Open School. And it is situated in Noida, which is near to Delhi, and around 17 state open schools. So catering to both the sectors, higher education as well as school education sector. So this National Institute of Open Schooling 2 years ago started with a new journal, and we requested Sir John Daniel that this is an inaugural issue. Please send a write-up for that. So he has given this term as mega open universities. Those universities which have more than 1 million enrollments, they are termed as like Anadolu University of Turkey and IGNU, like that. So I joined there in 1996. And since then, I have been, IGNU appointed me at various places, all the beautiful places which can be like Shillong, which is popularly called as, it is capital of Meghalaya towards Bangladesh border. And its popular name is Scotland of the East. It is very beautiful, really wonderful place. From there, I came to the Western India in Jaipur, the capital city of Rajasthan, the magnificent, all the Rajas, Maharajas, those big, big castles and undefeated forts, means nobody could conquer them. Only time, the people, they replaced those things. So then Goa, which is a beautiful destination, still having a very high, means rich Portuguese culture there, like so. And means while serving it, I got the opportunity to serve at the University of Guyana, which is in South America. This is the only country in South America which is on the landmass of South America. Rest all Caribbean countries, they are in the Atlantic Ocean. So that's it. And it's the only country where the official language is English. Otherwise, other countries there, like in Brazil, they speak Portuguese. Then Venezuela, it is Spanish and all those. So we had that unique advantage to us. I was there from 2009 to 2011. And once I joined there, then I installed the Moodle, and we started online courses there, because it was so like the USP, University of South Pacific, in there, which is a collective university of 11 countries, something. So here also in the small Caribbean islands, etc., the education, it is really much in demand, and the ODL for modality is very helpful for those. So we could start innovative programs as well, like the education for the retired people, that once they are not in active job, what else they can do so that they can keep themselves busy, and it can become an alternative source of income as well for them, because perhaps you all are aware about the economic conditions in that, means Haiti, one of the poorest countries, it was completely, means even half of the country was finished in that heavy earthquake, which there. So
You've
those
been to
things.
Haiti too?
I could not go there at that time, but during that I was in Guyana, and
Mm.
in fact,
You know,
very interesting.
go ahead.
I missed one opportunity when I was in Guyana there. The one of the best footballer of all times, the great Pele, he visited Guyana and he was at such a long distance. I wanted to go and shake hands and get his autograph. I could not go there. That's a big regret in my life that I could have seen him in person, the great Pele. So
So
the,
during the Haiti, the earthquake they had, all of a sudden they created the Open U of Haiti, or the online university for Haiti after the earthquake, right? So
yes.
people are reactive instead of proactive, is my point. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So, and that, and then means I have taught in means I have been to visit. I have been a visiting professor in the State University of Bahia. Bahia is the second largest state in Brazil after São Paulo. So there we have a group, and we have two patents in our name as well for the creation of virtual museum. It is Sao Jao da Bahia. So it was a wooden means old theater which got burnt down around 200 years ago. So we created a virtual theater of that and got it registered in means in the team's name in there. So means I consider myself fortunate enough that if you talk about the emergence of ODL in Indian context, and then we will go around our other countries as well, that I consider myself to see all the generations of ODL growth. In India, it was in 1960 that the first the correspondence school at the as the school of correspondence courses in Delhi University, New Delhi, it was started, and that is still continuing, but now it is named as School of Open Learning. So so that was the emergence of on this side. But over a period of time, then there were many other institutions. They started correspondence courses, so the lessons were being mailed to them. They were reading them, writing their examination. It got huge popularity. But as you know that the money becomes a big factor. So when the people they started getting jobs by doing those things, then many of the institutions they started doing malpractices and other things also. So you just get the material, come for examination, sit, no class, no nothing, nothing is required. So bad name started coming, and then government was serious. So they thought that how we can, do something about it. So the PCP, personal contact programs, they were introduced for face-to-face teaching, seeking, I mean, clarifications, giving them for the students on Sundays, because these are the working people, can't take leave during the
So
work
basically, people would meet up with an instructor or tutor on the weekends
on the
while
weekends.
taking a self-directed a correspondence course or a distance course or an online, or what kind of courses? And then they have a meetup on the weekend.
Those were during the weekdays, they were printed materials basically. At
Okay.
that time, it was mostly the print-based medium.
So
In
they're
fact,
doing this, print is sent to their homes on mail, so it's correspondence. It's
yes, correspondent.
correspondence plus an instructor who comes in to interact on the weekends,
Yes.
which has also been utilized by many open universities to
Yeah.
have these tutors that people meet up
Yes.
with on the weekends. So yeah.
Yeah.
So this was in Delhi or where in
All India. Mostly from the government regulations, they were made arrangements that this has to be in a way as a compulsory component of instructional delivery for that.
Hmm.
And then simultaneously, parallelly, the education technology was also being integrated into this format. So we had the radio lessons and interactive radio. In fact, I have one paper also published on IRI, interactive radio instruction. It was in a way, you can say, if phone in call to the studio on a toll-free number, and then the expert will reply to that. Then television came. So we had, and then satellite. In fact, The credit goes for the name is EDUSAT, Educational Satellite. Hi, Christine. So so IGNOU was given the responsibility, and many of from the studio in New Delhi, the teaching studio and the receiving studio on various study centers of IGNOU and state open universities, etc. They were created. And in the
You've seen the
meantime,
history of everything, like Sam.
yes,
You've been around with this since 1986, and here we are now 40, almost 38 years later, and you're still doing it. So you're describing what you've seen along the way. Has anything stayed the same?
Okay, yes, print material is still a priority for the students, because that becomes the digital medium. Although we have the learning management systems, like IGNOU offers its courses using Moodle, then Google Classroom a facility is also there. But there are still areas where, and particularly on a mobile device, on computer, reading those study material, it becomes really as a cognitive challenge. So the students also feel that if we have the book, we can read it anytime, if we are traveling something, doing something, those kind of things. But
especially during COVID times, print was very important. Radio was very important, right?
Certainly. In fact, that time, then the online education saw its peak, because the online classes, they were being organized. In fact, I think I forgot, I may have that video. We are in New Delhi now, in this locality, and we have our adjacent another local, means society adjacent to us. And one day I was during the lockdown, and I heard some loud noise. So I went over the boundary wall. So I saw one person in the ground there having a big megaphone kind of thing. And then the people with small kids, they were looking down from their balcony. And I thought that something is happening in this building. And when I started listening, I saw that he's speaking something about mathematical exercises. And then I found that this is a teacher, and he is teaching the students now using a megaphone. And then all the parents and the teachers from their balcony, they are listening to him and then solving the exercise and then shouting the answer. And it also, you are right, like that.
So a different kind of MOOC, megaphone open online course.
Certainly. And during those days, there was one more interesting example. I can send you the Google or link, or you can search it. We have a state in the eastern part of India. It is Jharkhand, which is Bihar and those like poor states in a way, not financially that much strong as the North India is there. So during lockdown, when no schools were open, nothing, everything was closed. Here is a teacher. He requested the municipality, and on the electric poles, they had these megaphones, loudspeakers. So to one of the loudspeaker, he connected his mobile phone, and using that, he used to broadcast the lectures. And the students in that locality, they will sit into the on the road in their own locality, and then will receive the instruction. It came as a big news. So all these things, they were, how to use the electronic medium in a much effective way, just so that education should not stop. That was quite interesting. And in terms of open and distance learning, in fact, India can be a very good example of growth at both levels. In the Andhra Pradesh Open University, which is now renamed as Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Open University, was the first Open University of India. It was started in 1982. Then IGNOU came in 1985. IGNOU has a national jurisdiction. All over India, the courses run. These are the state open universities. They cater to a particular state only from there. So we have now around, say, 20 state open universities catering to higher education sector. All kind of courses are offered. In fact, IGNOU once upon a time offered even courses on aeronautical engineering. So we silenced all those people who had doubt that science cannot be taught through distance education, all those kind of things. It's a very successful running model. And then the school sector, because the young population is a big factor. And particularly in India, we feel it that it's a big advantage to us that around 35% of the population is in the younger age range. And to provide them, so National Institute of Open Schooling, which has again like IGNOU, national jurisdiction, and then around 17 or 18 state open schools, which offer the classes, degrees up to 10th and 12th, the school leaving certificate. After that, they can go to higher education sector. So it's a big, to enhance the gross enrollment ratio, a very big opportunity for the people who could not have the formal schooling with them. So these were the interesting things they were happening around. And then the use of technology has been one of the hallmark of our distance education system. Means whatever technology was available at that particular time has been effectively used. So be it radio, be it television, be the computers, then internet came. So we started with online education, and now it is a big system. Most of the universities in India, they use some sort of a learning management system. They have regularly, there is a scheme, it is called as Swayam Prabha, Prabha, which is a bouquet of 32 DTH channels, direct to home, the radio channels. So the recorded lessons are given to them. They keep on broadcasting them, and almost in local language and for various subjects. So the students who, whatever the course they are enrolled into it, they keep on accessing them. So this is a very big service for the students provided by the institutions and the Ministry of Education. I think you are.
I'm muted. Yeah, my friend Glenn Jones in Denver created Mind Extension University. It was in the early days of cable television here in the USA, and was very successful in getting extension and outreach to people at their homes through television courses. He sold it to the Discovery Channel for $300 million, a lot of money. But that's still, when I went to grad school, I helped create a correspondence course like that called Teachers Tackle Thinking, Critical Thinking in the Classroom. And I took the courses like that to get into grad school, courses on creativity and gifted and talentedness and all sorts of things at Wisconsin, which was a leader. Wisconsin, Nebraska, Oklahoma, Penn State were the early leaders in the distance learning in the USA. And
Yes.
In India, as you said, the government has done a lot to ramp this up. And I know they're working on something where you can create like a $30 laptop computer. I don't know if that ever happened, but I saw a vision about that. Did that ever happen? Did someone have
No,
success or not?
yeah, it was a Canadian-based company. They came up with that Akash tablet, around $30 that price. But somehow that project did not, take up. There were some because they received so many orders that the company could not fulfill their obligations,
Of
and
course.
ultimately they said that sorry, we can't. And then ultimately means even though, but there have been other examples where some of the state governments they have provided laptop to the students free of cost, means low cost laptops for them to encourage, particularly for promoting girl education. So they have been given bicycle. Those who live far off, they can come to the school. Free bicycles to them. Then we have a scheme for school sector. It is called as midday meal. So the food is given to the kids in the school so that they stay. Otherwise, for food, if they go out, then they won't come back to let them stay in the school to complete them, help them completing their education. Those kind of good schemes they have been put in place.
Ramesh, I know Bo has to leave in a few minutes. I want to let him ask a question before he goes. So, Bo, you want to jump in here?
Give me just a second. I'm gonna think on that a little bit
Okay.
more before I
And,
ask that. Okay, Dr. Ball?
sure. And as Bo's thinking, Ramesh, you want to try and share your slides again and see if, or your screen, you wanted to try it one more time. We don't want to give up on things if you
Okay, sure.
see if it'll work. I'm not sure. Maybe I have to make you a co-host. I think I can do that easy enough. So you are now a co-host. That might make it easier to share.
See.
Maybe not. So when Ramesh, Kirsten, and Alicia and Emily, when he was talking about Indira Gandhi National Open University, IGNU, that's the largest or the second largest Open U in the entire world. China Open U may be larger. That's debatable. I think China is second and IGNU is first. Ramesh might know better than me. Is China Open University the second largest, Ramesh?
It is perhaps now we are the first one because very recently we in terms of population, India
Yeah.
is number one now.
Ah, right. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. The largest country population wise, of course. There's
It is.
So
100,000 in every MBA cohort in IGNU. So we're talking
can,
about massive numbers.
can I ask a question that's
Sure.
based on that actually? And this might be my my ignorance in being an instructor within a MOOC such as that. What's the biggest challenge or what does the organizational structure look like when we're talking about individual class sizes that are that large and that vast? Because that seems dramatically challenging to me to one, organize all of it, but then two, also to provide meaningful feedback to that many participants.
Okay, good question. In our system, if it is ODL system, then numbers, because there are no regular classes on everyday basis, and it is only the study center. So there are around, say, 60 to 100 students, because we have so many, like around more than 2,000 study centers across India. And if there is a big number at a particular place, then we open next study center. Study center is the grassroots. So in terms of organization, there is headquarters in New Delhi. Then under that, we have regional centers. Now, each state, there are around 29 states in India. So some of these states, they are very big. So like in Rajasthan, where I was there are two regional centers. So most of them had at least minimum one regional center. So regional center is a sort of a administrative linkage between study center where the student goes and the headquarters. So we open, then if we see that there are more students at one place, then open another center. In fact, it's quite interesting to know that we opened study centers in some special places as well, like for the jail inmates, those study centers, for the disadvantaged section of the society, those also to bring them into the bigger umbrella of educational opportunities created for them. So in terms of sizes like that, it definitely in the metro cities, the numbers are more because the people, they are better aware, and then they try to have some extra skills developed, another qualification, so that they can either switch to a better job or just for learning purpose as well. In the two-tier cities, B class cities or C class cities, like that, there are it is manageable in that. It's the challenge of numbers is in the metro cities like Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, Hyderabad, which are metros per se.
Well, one of the an online program that I'd come across a couple of years ago was called the Power MBA. And one of the things that they were doing is, this was it was an online self-directed program. But in those metro areas, those meetups that they would have, were nice because I think it fed into some of the social aspect of learning, and it allowed the individuals to kind of connect with like-minded people in their cohorts. Has that been a successful thing in those metro areas that, you know, people outside in the more rural areas, they just can't accommodate that? Is that something that you found as well?
Yes, yes, that has been
Yeah.
noted. And the kind of the community sport and these self-interest groups, etc., that also was a positive factor to that.
Cool. Yeah, gotcha. Thank you so much.
So Ramesh, you're the editor of the Asian Journal of Distance Education. Yesterday we had Sam Naidu, who is the editor of Distance Education. And you've also are a member of his journal, Distance Ed. You're on the review board or editorial board, along with myself. You're also part of the International Journal of Distance Ed Technologies and also the Aradal Journal, International Review of Research on Open and Distributed Learning. Can you tell my students a bit about the different journals and about your journal in particular? And if they want to publish in your journal, what kinds of things do you accept? And do you have any special issues coming up?
Okay, good question. In the meantime, I'm trying to join through my another laptop.
Right. Oh, there you
so
are.
that I can share my presentation. And okay, here.
You might have to mute one of the computers.
Yes, I let me read right. So I'll come to the journal part. Okay,
Got it.
this is about the status of these figures may not be updated maybe for the last year, but here you can see that we have around more than 1,000 universities. In India, there are 4 kind of universities. We have central universities, which come under central government, like IGNOU is a central university. Then state universities, which are governed by the state acts. Then private universities. In fact, we have seen the very high rise of emergence establishment of private universities. And then there are deemed to be universities, which are institutes with specialization, and they are given that status. So there, and then we have various kind of regulatory bodies for like University Grants Commission for higher education in general, then All India Council for Technical Education for technical courses, for management education, for medical education, Medical Council of India, like that. Those things, they are there. And this is how it is, the distribution of the by the type: state public universities, state private universities. You can see open universities, they are a small part as compared to the other systems with that. The enrollment is quite good in terms of higher education, both for distance education and regular enrollment in the traditional universities as well. In fact, of late, there have been a criticism as well, but many of the universities, they are regularly inviting applications for PhD. And in some cases, a serious concern has been found about the quality of the research work which is coming up. And of late, these generative AI tools, etc., it has also become a serious concern that how these tools, they are being used by the research scholars and getting published into that. So this is about IGNOU. I already told that it came in 1985. It was the second university. It acts as a national resource center within the India. Not only that, around 30 centers, they are established outside India as well. Like in East African countries, the centers are there. In the Middle East, the IGNOU centers are there. So that because many of the Indians or those students, they want to have their own, to take the advantage of the good quality material. IGNOU has been very famous for one factor: its course material. In my service with the university, and even outside it, I have seen criticism of many other things. Means student service may be a questionable thing. Somebody is unhappy with something, but so far no one had said any negative comment about the quality of course material, because they were written by the best experts within India, outside India. The quality of the course material, particularly not only the subject specific, but in ODL as well, like our good friend Professor Santosh Panda from STRIDE, the Staff Training and Research Institute in Distance Education. So they have dedicated courses on distance education from there. So there are various specialized programs as well, like for agriculture, for tourism, for gender studies, mass media, and teacher education. Those things, they are all. And for the jail inmates, the education is provided free of cost. The government bears that. And particularly when I was there, I was the in charge for the defense unit. So for the armed forces, Indian Army, Indian Navy, and Indian Air Force, the personnel, the defense personnel, they enrolled for the courses for them. This is a brief chart about the means what is on offer. Around 300 academic programs and many thousand of the courses. You can see there are 21 schools of studies, 67 regional centers, around 2000. And the academic counselors, we call them as academic counselors. In some countries, they are called as tutors. But the basically role is same, to provide academic, personal, and career-wise guidance to the students, those things. We have a good number of audio and video programs because there is IGNOU's own studio available, which helps. The first link is Swayam. It is the MOOC platform by the Government of India. Like we have Coursera and Udacity and something. So this is the study web of active young aspiring minds. It's a acronym for that. And then the Swayam Prabha, which is at the second line. This is that 32 DTH bouquet for there. And then eGyan Kosh is the repository, online repository of all the course materials. Anyone can log in and download the course material as the PDF from there. So it's a big, a good repository of the course material created by the IGNOU. Then the pedagogy and other things which are available. So the assessment, it is a internal through the assignments where the teachers, they give them grades, then give them the comments. As in distance education, we say that there are around 8 or 9 kind of comments: constructive comments, hollow comments, neutral comments, like that. So teachers, they use. Very recently, the last one, using the blockchain technology, the certificates, they are being given there, and then because it becomes unhackable, and you can't do the forgery or that. So that is going into there.
Ramesh, can you go back a slide?
Yes, please.
Does anyone have a question about this slide? Maybe Kirsten in her job setting. Do you have any questions that's been raised so far?
Yeah, I found it interesting. I actually work with many Indian students who come to my university. We have an international population of over 8,500 students, and most of them are primarily from India. So it's interesting. But what I found is that many of them don't want to do completely online. They want to come here and have some type of seated component. So I found that part interesting. I actually haven't heard of IGNOU. What programs are the most popular at IGNOU? That would be a question I have.
So Kirsten, before he answers that, tell them where you work.
Oh yeah, of course. I work at Trine University. It's a private university in Indiana. It's in the top corner, bordering Ohio and Michigan. So right on the
Trine. Trine.
Yes, Trine University. Yes.
Nice, very nice. Okay, good question. Two of the most popular programs are management programs and computer science programs.
Okay.
Always they are the top earners in terms of student enrollment. The reason is simple. We still have many jobs coming up in the management field. We pick up any newspaper, there are so many advertisements coming up for those. And similarly, computer science. These are the directly means you do your BSc with computer science, BTech with computer science, like that, and get the job. And nowadays, technology is evolving so fast that the programmers, software developers, they are always in demand.
Yeah.
So
yeah, those are actually the programs that are the most popular for our students as
There
well.
are other courses as well, which are quite much they have a high value, like journalism. Okay, where is that one? Yeah, okay. Like library science, journalism and mass communication, tourism and hospitality. Because in India, we have a unique advantage that you can find here all kind of tourisms. We have astro tourism in our means that Himalayan side. We have religious tourism, so many temples anywhere. In fact, this you will smile at it. Once long upon a time, a magazine, it is called as India Today magazine. They made a survey and they gave the calculation that total number of universities plus total number of colleges plus total number of schools less than total number of temples in India. We have more altogether. So many temples. Everywhere you go, there is some god and there is temple dedicated to them. So religious tourism, then you see the nature's beauty. So those hill places are there. Means all kind of. So this tourism and hospitality is fast emerging there. And then teacher education, always in demand, means keep on. But the restriction with teacher education is that limited number of seats. In others, as many want admission, everybody is welcome to that. So that makes a little difference among that. So broadly speaking, that is the main in there. Then recently in here, the shift to traditional to online to blended, they have call it as HyFlex, the hybrid flexible system. So means offering all kind of possible combinations to the students for delivery of education. So it is supported with face-to-face at study centers as counseling sessions. We don't call them as personal contact program now, call them as counseling sessions. So in personal contact program, it was a regular kind of teaching. The teacher will teach you the course. But in counseling, it is expected as a kind of a flipped learning model. So you have the course material, read it at home, come to the center, discuss your problems, and like that. So that goes with there. So this is one. Let me show you one more small presentation. It is about the course development model of IGNOU, that how it is followed. These are the routine things I'm just skipping because you know them already. Okay. Yeah, credit system. 1 credit hour is considered as 30 hours of learning activity. So that involves the self-study, the exercises. Oh, sorry. I think you are not seeing that screen. I need to. You still see that HyFlex thing?
Yeah, we still see a HyFlex. And by the way, the guy who built HyFlex initially, his name is Brian Beatty. He's my former student. He's at San Francisco State University. He created the HyFlex model, at least here in the US. It might be the same in India. I don't know.
No, we just use the name.
Yeah, it's a small world anyhow.
Small world. Yeah, certainly. So here the credit structure, what is followed here. So it includes, all kind of activities, and they have to go through the package, audio, video material, tele lessons, face-to-face assignments, practicals, etc. So depending on the nature of the course, the credits they are decided. So means if it is particularly like if it is 30 hours and accordingly for a certificate program. So the system is here that we have certificate, 6 months course, diploma, 1 year course, then bachelor's degree, maybe of 3 years, 2 years, depending on the combinations, and then master's program and the research programs as the PhD one. So depending on all these things, they are there. Let me take you to this one, which I wanted to show as the structure of the program. So on the top is a program, for example, Master of Business Administration, that becomes a program. Under that, a combination of courses. So like courses on human resource, financial management, something. all the courses, they are divided into various blocks. One block may have around 75 to 80 pages booklet. Every block has various units. Units means one chapter. And then these units, they have sections, subsections like that. So this is how the program structure is divided into it. So block unit, one unit like that. So around 5,000 to 6,000 words in one unit or one chapter, it is there. And these are the considerations that how the student can be, can read those blocks and units around that. This is the instructional design process followed in here. So this step is the course formulation, where need assessment is done. There are 4 phases formed: phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4 for any course to be launched. So identifying that who can be enrolled in that outside line. After that, it goes to the course designing stage, where the media components, they are identified, integrating them, where the audio will go, where the video will go, where the animations and any kind of thing. Then the actual work on unit writing, editing, etc. started parallelly with the audio video production. Then it is reviewed. All this print materials, as well as it is sent to the evaluators. They review it, give the suggestions, and then so it goes in that way. And that is very robust. All these stages, a serious concern is given to everything with that. So this is how the course development then it goes. Means specifying the objectives, then goes into the learning outcomes, checking them whether the content is in alignment with the course learning outcomes. Then the self assessment activities at various places, exercises which the students can do and then report back to their study centers. All those things, they are taken into consideration. So this is about the presentation. And these were the 2 slides which I thought of sharing.
Can you send me those so I can share them with the
Certainly.
students?
Yes,
Great.
I will email them.
So Alicia, you have a question?
Okay, thank you, Dr. Bank. And it's very nice to have you here, share with us insights, share your insights with us, Dr. Sharma. And according to your bio, you are the distinguished expert in open and distance learning with over 3 decades, wow, of international experience, amazing, in educational technology. So I really want to hear from you and about your idea on the emerging trends in open and distance learning that researchers should keep an eye on. So this is my question. What's the trends? Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
Sure. Before I answer this question, let me complete the answer to the previous question about the research journals. As Professor Bong told that me and our good friend now, we started with Sanjay Mishra, Paul Kawachi. Paul Kawachi is in Japan. But Sanjay being with COL now, not able to devote more time, and Paul Kawachi is in due to his health issues. So I was managing it alone for some time. Then Dr. Aras Bozkurt, which is in Anadolu University in Turkey.
Another friend of mine.
As a good friend of and wonderful human being. He is such a nice person.
Yeah.
So we both are managing Asian Journal of Distance Education. And you will be happy to know that we are getting good citations for our work in that. In fact, 2 of our articles in which me and Aras we wrote as our editorial, one has around 2,000 citations as per Google Scholar, and another one has 1,500.
Wow.
There are many other people, other articles which are getting. So that way we are thankful to our authors for their brilliant work, and they like to share. So what we look for in for our journal. Basically, all the dimensions of, although it is named as Asian Journal because we started at that time in 2000, now it is 24 years old. At that time, our focus was because we had American Journal of Distance Education by Michael Moore in that, and
Right.
then there was this Journal of Open Learning by UK, UK Open University, and this. So Europe was covered, Americas was covered, and in Asian region there were not that much good quality journals. So we started, but then we have expanded our base. We accept articles from anywhere pertaining to distance education and all forms of distance education, be it traditional or say like in e-learning and those kind of things. Our focus remains is that there should be something new in the paper. Means if it is routine kind of thing or not with a strong methodology, then we find it difficult to accept. We try to give our comments to the authors that if we see that if it has a potential to revise, then we certainly welcome that. Otherwise, we or the good quality papers, we go ahead and then we try to our turnover means the going back to the author. No, we don't take means 6 months or 7. Like we try to first review within 1 month and then send the feedback to the author. So that because we know that sometimes it becomes a challenge for the authors. And like Professor Bunk knows, some of his papers, they have been gone through many cycles and it takes 1 year or 2 years in getting accepted by the good journal like that. So it becomes an anxiety that what is happening with my paper, even after spending 1 year, whether the editor will say yes or no, that becomes. So this is how we look forward for the studies for our journal, and you are most welcome to refer and contribute to Asian Journal of Distance Education. Now
Thank you
to
so
the
much.
yes.
And there are a lot of journals, and I've indexed them at my website. Other people have indexed them at their websites, but if you're looking for them, you can go to my homepage under resources and find over 100 journals in the field.
Yeah.
And for all sorts of things. Oh, so
Yeah.
so in terms of Alicia's question.
Now the what is happening recently that two developments have happened in India. Last year, the government of India has announced National Quantum Mission. And on 14th of April, this next Sunday, I'm giving a talk on quantum biology. So this is one thing happening, but quantum is a new phenomenon. Not many people and not much of the work is yet to be done from the public's point of view on a commercialization level. But the another important development which has happened for the past some time is that the national policy on artificial intelligence by the government of India. And the ministry is very open in using the modern technology for education. So the distance education modality, the current trend is that it is to a very high degree, the technology enabled learning. So we have various modalities from the simple kind of technology, which is still supported with the radio and television lessons, the broadcast lessons offered to the students, to the learning management system supported and AI enabled activities for the administrative purpose, the examination purpose, and the academic services offered through those. So the work is in such a way that how we can go to personalization of education, because in distance education, it is a very serious factor. We have all kind of students, those who need a support from the beginning and those who are little bit much more cognitively developed as compared to others. So that is the focus and the kind of trend which is being in our universities. The universities, they are focusing on that.
I appreciate your answer. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So Ramesh, before we go, I want to make sure we have all questions, but in terms of the topic for this week, it's on open education.
Yes.
And so can you help us, like Sam did last night, in trying to define for us what open education is, what other derivations of openness, open universities, open educational resources, open courseware. Last night we talked about open educational pedagogy, open educational services. So before I ask the follow-up question, so to give us your perspective on openness and why it's important today. What does it help us to do?
Yeah, this is a very important concept in our context as well, particularly due to the access factor of it, because still there are a lot of means the access to the educational system in terms of a university getting into it, but then the open universities, they provided that mechanism. So and the openness in terms of access to the material, access to the instruction, and those things are there. And then those who want to study, then in terms of examination as well, the SWAM platform, it is making the open education a very comfortable factor, a favorable factor for the students. So in our context, mostly it is making it open, means the courses are not free of cost completely for everyone, but there are cases where the education expenditure is borne by the institution. So it is in terms of financial open for them, then in terms of access, the barriers are not there. So that is how it is gone. And then we had certain very successful models for promoting open educational practices and open educational resources. There is a National Council for Educational Research and Training, NCERT in New Delhi, with the Ministry of Education, and ROER, the National Repository of Open Educational Resources. It was a very big. Nowadays, they have combined it into another platform, but it was a unique platform for promoting open educational resources, because in India, we have many languages. So 29 states, immediately one state has many languages. And then the students, everybody doesn't speak English. Most of the course material was in English. So how to translate them? So we had those course materials, the audios, videos in the regional languages. All those are available on that platform. So that is a good example of the promoting the open educational resources. And then we had this when I was with Commonwealth of Learning, two of the important projects they were supported. One is KOER, Karnataka Open Educational Resources. Karnataka is a state in next to Maharashtra in the south side. So Karnataka, and then the Tamil Nadu, which is another southern state. So TNOER, Open Educational Resources. So for those students, so it is become like a good example of open education, where we are opening up the education, removing the barriers of either access or financial constraints, something, or the constraint to have access to some sort of technological, those resources, those things.
So the Commonwealth of Learning is in Vancouver, but they had an arm in Delhi location. And
that is for 8 Commonwealth Asian countries. So this is Commonwealth Educational Media Center for Asia, CEMCA. So that is the local chapter here.
Which you were heavily involved with or working for a long time before Warsaw University. They have many free reports.
Yes. After Sanjay shifted to Vancouver, then I took over as director of SEMCA. So that was there.
Okay, so he was in Delhi and then he moved to Vancouver and you took his place, kind of.
Yeah.
That's how it works. Okay.
So friendship goes on. It is something like
there are conferences around this. The PCF conferences for open education. I was at the one in Scotland to celebrate the 50-year anniversary of the Open U of the UK right before COVID, back in September of 2019. So there are journals you can publish in, there are conferences, there are organizations and there are different umbrellas for open educational resources.
And
Kirsten,
then
go ahead.
I would like to share something from our neighborhood from India. We have one Asian Association of Open Universities, AAOU, which is a very reputed association, and they have their journal as well, Journal of AAOU,
Right.
which is published by Emerald. And AAOU also organizes conferences regularly, and it is a very good platform for sharing the experiences on what is happening in Asia particularly. And then as I was working in Malaysia, Malaysia has 3 open universities kind of thing. Wawasan Open University, which is in Penang, I was teaching there. Then we have OUM, Open University of Malaysia, which is in Kuala Lumpur, the capital city. And then there is Asia E-University. So it is completely digital kind of E-University, a sort of thing. And they are quite, all these 3 systems, they are very strong, very popular among the in Malaysia, many students. And you may be knowing that in Malaysia, there are 3 ethnicities, Chinese, Indians, and Malay, all those. So that makes a very unique kind of community building where people all together, they share their ideas, cultures. So the education as also promotes it, and it takes into consideration all those things. So this is really a fantastic thing. Then, education.
AEOU, I think I've known some past presidents. Melinda Bandelaria and Tian Belawati, and all my good friends have been in president at some point in time.
Yes.
Yes. So we know some similar people. Kirsten or Alicia, you have a final question for Ramesh or comment? Go ahead, Kirsten.
Yeah, I just want to thank you for taking the time to talk with us. I feel like I have a lot of questions that I could ask.
Well, ask one of them.
Yes. One thing I wanted to mention is you mentioned that Malaysia, the culture, and I've visited before. I've been to Malacca and Kuala Lumpur, and I do find it fascinating how diverse the culture is and how integrated the cultures are. So that's really interesting. But my question is about Ingnu. I have not heard of this university before, so it's fascinating to me to learn about this open university. And in looking, I see that they have choice-based credit system for some of the programs. Are you finding that those choice-based programs, is that all they offer? They have more traditional programs as well, and which one is more popular?
Okay, this is a good question. Very recently, the government has announced some modifications, and the previous education policy, which came in somewhere around 1984. Since then, we were continuing with that for more than 30 years. But then in the year 2020, the National Education Policy new was introduced, and it has brought some fundamental changes into the education system in the country. Traditional education as well as the formal system. So now there are certain unique things which have been introduced is the multiple entry and exit provisions for the students. So those students, they can't study for 1 year or 2 years or 3 years. You want to complete your, means you have completed your 6 months, okay, and you want to leave, okay, go ahead, get the certificate, and you are most welcome to come back when you feel that now you want to join again. So certificate, diploma, those degrees, they have been. And then the outcome-based education, OBE, it is favored. Those are the educational curriculum is devised in such a way that what is the outcome at the end. And then the choice-based credit system, which is aligned with the graduate attributes, so that the industry linkage is established from there. So to promote that, some sort of like skill enhancement courses, ability enhancement courses, subject specific courses, So the focus is on that. All the traditional regular, so far, there was a broad demarcation. We are the traditional courses, we are the skill courses. If you want to go to skill courses, go to that particular organization. And so there was no match. Like the traditional graduates, they are doing their computer science courses, but when they go for interview for data entry operator, could not do because no practice like that. Those were the challenges. So this gap is being covered now using those. So a focus is on how we can, and then another important thing which is the government wants to include Indian knowledge system, IKS, Indian knowledge system, because the rich heritage of our old scriptures, and it is a treasure trove of good knowledge. So the roots of Indian civilizations, cultures, all those things, they are being integrated into the curriculum. So now the focus is on how the regular education can be augmented using skill-based education. Either it is a complete skill, like a course on something, like I'm teaching Microsoft Excel to my students. And one of my MOOC, it is on the Government of India's platform. It is something like equivalent of Coursera of US, SWAYAM. So Introduction to Virtual Reality. That is my own MOOC. These are kind of the courses which are skill enhancement courses. You learn them and then you can do your own, you can start your own work or earn some money and go that. So this is how these new changes are being brought into the system. And the curriculum is being revised and aligned with what the market or the industry looks for.
Thank you. That's very interesting. Dr. Bonk actually had an assignment where we had to do tidbits, and I think that's the same probably for American universities, is figuring out how to make learning applied learning, where you're able to go out into the workforce and apply those skills. It's becoming more and more popular. I do have one more question. You talked about the national strategy for artificial intelligence in India. How is that integrating with education?
Okay, we have one authority. It is called as Secondary Board for the Secondary Board for Education, and they have few years ago they came up with a curriculum, because the problem was that everybody is talking about artificial intelligence. It was, we want our students to be aware about AI. But who can teach artificial intelligence? There were no teachers. So they introduced the curriculum from class 8th up to 12th, 5 stages, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. But there is a huge means, who will teach? Even the AI is a course in Master's MCA or MTech Computer Science, MSc Computer Science, that is in the final year, and one of the electives, which some people, students take, many do not take. There was a big gap. To fill up that, to develop the human power into it, so courses, industry related, in simple AI for general public, like that, those were introduced. And government has supported all those initiatives, how AI can be used for education, because in other areas, for defense, for health, for transportation, for telecommunication, industry is taking care of that. In education, the schools and universities, they have been asked that you create courses or have some sort of like boot camps, where the students, they are made aware about how you can use it. So that's how the education system started working on that.
Thank you.
So she mentioned tidbits. What I'm having them do is read news articles or magazine articles, just things in the news that, little things, not all. I'm having to read research, too much maybe research. I'm having to read a special issue, parts of it every week. So they're knee deep in research, but I also want to read at the surface level to see what people are seeing as trends and what they're doing to react to those trends. What new initiatives are happening, what new programs are happening, what are attitudes about people towards immersive worlds or gaming or gamification of learning, whatever. So just, you have to read both in this field, because it's, it doesn't get in the research articles that quickly. Special issues happen faster than the normal journal article. And that's why partly why I picked special issues, because they're real current. They're all been, most of them at least since 2020 or since 2020 or 2021. Most are actually from the last 2 years. But even then, stuff from 2 years ago is sometimes dated compared to what you can read in the news today or tomorrow. And so it's some of both. And in an emerging technologies course or emerging learning technologies, learning is changing in front of our eyes. The technologies that can enhance, augment, extend our learning to remote parts of the world, like you're talking about here, are constantly new things are in the news. And I hear some quack quack. What is this?
Okay. This is quite interesting. There is this state in Rajasthan, and I had gone there last month. It was some around 60 teachers from various states. They came on how to use artificial intelligence. This is our WhatsApp group, and perhaps I can show you the work which they have doing. These are the work by the teachers along with their students. Like this is dancing doll project in school using Arduino. That is there. I can send you these links.
Yeah.
Let me just show. This is rotating DNA model with popsicle sticks. The teacher using means with the help of students created them on showing. These are the school students. They have created it. And oh, this reminded me. There is a news. I think I may have that video, or you can make a Google search. There is a school in Kerala. They have introduced AI teacher. It is a mannequin.
I heard of that.
Yeah, that became a very famous story. So this is there, and there are few things which so how to reach, and then okay. This is okay, a tool for translation. So here he says in Hindi that today the students of class 6, they made a robotic car project. Class 6 students, very small students. And here is the, okay, I think my system is hanged, but here is the video though created. So the students, they are so much interested in using these applications of artificial intelligence, and they are learning it, and they are working it for thinking of the solutions which they face in their real life. So that is the mindset in that how we can make some a solution to a problem which we face in our daily life. So they reminded me that I can share.
Yes. When you share your slides, send me these links as well, and I'll wait until you get all of them and before I forward this to my students. I will make the video available as well, the recording. It will take a few hours to process, but they'll have the recording, and then if we can have the links, that would be wonderful. This has been tremendous today. Thank you for a short notice. And it's nighttime. It's now 10:15 at night, I think there, or something like that. Yeah, and
it is much better than 3:30 a.m.
in the morning. Yes, I know. So thank you for being willing to do that. So we'll wave goodbye and say thank you once again. Let's try waving again. Let's try that again. Wave. Thank you. Okay, I think I got it. But yeah, so it's been wonderful having you with us today, and thank you so much. This is week 12, part 2, R678 for the spring of 2024 with Dr. Ramesh Sharma, who's an educational technology pioneer, who's an online learning, open and distance learning, guru. And we had the privilege to be with him for this last hour and 15 minutes. This was great. It was not in the syllabus at all. These are the impromptu things that enlighten the syllabus, that make it come alive. And so we love to have that. So I'm going to